Hello, I'm Paige, and together we're diving into a powerful and transformative concept, inclusive education. Whether you're an educator, parent, policymaker, or simply passionate about equality, this topic affects us all, especially here in South Africa. In our classrooms, homes, and communities, we have so many wonderful and different learners, with each carrying their own story. So if we have such fantastically different people, why are we trying to fit them into the same boring box? So here's an honest question for us all. If inclusion is the law, and the policies are in place, and we know what we're supposed to do, why are so many learners still being excluded? We see it every day. Teachers overwhelmed, classrooms struggling, and learners facing barriers that leave them behind. It's not because teachers don't care, it's because barriers are layered, complex, and deeply rooted in the systems we use, the resources we have, the attitudes we hold, and sometimes the very environments of our schools. When we talk about learning barriers, we're referring to any obstacles that prevents a learner from fully accessing, participating in, or benefiting from education. These barriers can be intrinsic or extrinsic. Intrinsic barriers arise from within the learner, while extrinsic barriers come from the outside. So this could be the home, the school, or the education system itself. We need to remember, barriers are not located inside the learner. Yes, a learner might have needs, but the real barriers are in the environment, the system, and sometimes in the way we think. When we label a child as the problem, we stop asking what needs to change around them. Intrinsic barriers include disabilities such as visual impairments, hearing impairments, physical disabilities affecting mobility, or intellectual disabilities. Specific learning disorders like dyslexia, dyscalculia, or neurodevelopmental conditions such as ADHD or autism spectrum disorder, language and communication challenges like limited literacy skills, speech difficulties, or trouble in understanding instruction, and psychosocial and emotional factors such as trauma, anxiety, depression, or other emotional or behavioral challenges all fall into this category. These intrinsic barriers do not mean a learner cannot learn. They simply mean the learner may require specialized support, adapted teaching strategies, or assistive technology to access the curriculum equally. Extrinsic barriers appear as poverty, hunger, unsafe living conditions, limited access to learning materials or technology, overcrowded classrooms, lack of teacher training or support services, a rigid curriculum and assessments, and language differences between home and school. Socioeconomic barriers include poverty, poor nutrition, limited resources, unstable home environments, and the lack of caregiver support. Language diversity means learners may speak a different home language than the classroom language, impacting confidence, participation, and understanding. Systemic and policy barriers are often seen in overcrowded classes, insufficient funding, limited specialist support, and inadequate training for inclusive education. Physical and access barriers occur when school buildings lack ramps, accessible toilets, or transport for learners with mobility challenges. But now, what can educators do where we need to move from barriers to support? The first step is to recognize that diversity is normal. It's good, it's beautiful. Every classroom is filled with learners of different abilities, languages, backgrounds, and learning styles. Diversity is a strength, not a problem. We need to focus on identifying and removing barriers. This means looking closely at what blocks access, be it a worksheet requiring high literacy and a classroom rule that unintentionally excludes, or an assessment that only values one kind of ability. Then we strive for equity through differentiation. Equity is not about giving everyone the same thing, but it's about giving learners what they need to reach the same goals. Differentiation might mean offering graded reading levels, mixed ability groups, sentence starters, extra time, or allowing oral responses instead of written ones. We can then have a look at the universal design for learning. Universal design for learning encourages multiple means of representation, such as presenting content in different formats, like spoken explanation, visuals, vocabulary lists, videos or simplified notes, or audio. It also supports multiple means of engagement by building motivation through choice, relevant examples, collaborative tasks, clear routines, and culturally responsive material. Finally, it advocates for multiple ways for learners to express their understanding, including writing, speaking, drawing, posters, recordings, role-play, or even digital submissions. Inclusion requires continuous professional development. The more we learn about inclusive strategies, assistive tools, and learner support, the more confident and realistic our practice becomes. Use available resources, short courses, and professional communities to keep growing. Remember, belonging starts with us. Until next time, bye!